Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. We are back. Once again, my name is Jacob here with the LuxAlgo team. I got my man Mickey from the VIP Discord, your fellow trader slash, I don't even know, what do you want to call yourself, Mickey? Lux Pro?
Troller, lurker.
Yeah, troller, lurker.
How you doing, everyone?
Lux Pro.
How you doing? How you doing?
Awesome. Well, yeah, so not too great going on in the market right now. Let's look over what has been posted today. This is mostly for the US here. Those of you from North Korea, what's up? I hope your name is Jacob there if you're saying what a name. Hopefully it's Jacob. Timothy from Kansas City, welcome. Welcome everybody. We got Mickey, first comment of the day. Good job, man.
That's right. Yep.
But again, U.S. events, yeah, today went kind of crazy. We're down over 1%. I think we still are. We'll look here in just a second. But as we look at the numbers, consumer confidence, not so great. And then the home price index ended up being positive from a previous negative. So not a great time to buy a house. So we are seeing a negative effect on that for sure. And yeah, market's down today over one. Let's see what it says. Yeah, 1% exactly at the moment on the ES. And we'll take a look at our overviews. This is obviously the 5-minute, but let's scale it back a little bit. Look at our 4-hour charts as we dive into where we might be. Starting with the S&P 500. Gonna adjust that sensitivity to 16. From Miami, what's up, Ray? How you doing? But yeah. So the ES here in Miami. ES in Miami. Hey Jacob, could you talk about setting up alerts for BOS to Chach? Yes, I can. We'll go over all those settings later. As you know, I love the BOS to Chach setup. But let's go over our entire market setup. For now, let me get rid of these dots down here. We'll go over that. But yes, down 1% today. We broke that smart trail right at open, nearly there in that first 4-hour move. Broke that smart trail, and now we're heading lower. Sorry, that was yesterday. That's my bad. On Wednesday. Oh, wait, no, that was last week. I'm looking at the wrong time. I'm so used to the 5-minute. I'm just like all over the place right now. Okay, sorry. 5-minute, it was down 1% today, but if we're looking at Wednesday of last week, we hit this trend. That was the first lower high of that, so excuse my confusion there for a second. 4-hour chart is what we're looking at. Notice we had that sell signal. We broke that smart trail last Wednesday. We have continued lower from then. All right, now we're on track. Continue lower for them. That was mostly because of FOMC and into the home sales today. Got that recent break of structure as well today. But notice the oscillator here. We are sitting still, above that oversold area. We did have, a little bit of divergence set up here, but the money flow is still super strong. So nothing I would be concerned at the bottom just yet. We want to see a clear reaction if we want to see an actual bottom. Let's for that then, no order blocks sitting anywhere. If we were to pull out, let's go to 5th, maybe let's just bring it out 500, and then no hiding overlap, and there you go. Next level order block we'd be looking for is from back in June, around the 4270 level, but we probably have a psychological level down here at 4,300. So we'll keep an eye on. And look at that. We have a small gap here that looks like we didn't fill before. So we did retrace and bounce off the 435 level on the ES. But now we're starting to fill this gap. I mean, you understand these gaps always get filled. Any imbalances like that eventually get filled. So it's cool to see that is being covered. So 4,300 would be the bottom of that gap. So let's see if that fully gets filled down to 4,300 for the ES, because we just got another break of structure and turning point on the oscillator. So heading over to gold, using my secondary we go to and look at. Super bearish right now. Wow. Heading into these order blocks as well. Let me bring this back to the 5 here. Make sure we have 5 up. And yeah, in this order block right now, potentially going to mitigate that order block, but it is a 27% order block. And remember, we like to see reaction, if anything, right? For those of you that know, I'm a big BOS, a change of character trader. I like to see setups after that. So in my opinion, if this order block does break, we are coming from an upside on this oscillator. I would like to see the oscillator turn back and then have some type of reject with another turning point. Maybe if this is turned into a breaker block. Now remember, if you are a LuxAlgo premium subscriber, you can get breaker blocks automatically plotted for you just like that. You should see that it pops up now. Show breakers in the price action concepts indicator. You can click show breaker blocks. Now you can see that. I'm going to actually take off. I'm going to put hide overlap back on. Now you can see we are turning this previous order block into a breaker block because it's hollow. So if this becomes a breaker block, obviously we won't know. Hold on, I didn't mean to do that. Obviously we won't know if it's, well, actually, did that just close? It did. So we do know this is a breaker block. So the 4-hour candle just closed there on the gold here. So we did get a breaker block. If you look here, if I turn off obviously breaker blocks, you'll see that it goes away. So that 35% breaker block there might be a nice potential entry if we show reaction to it after this extended sell-off that we have right now. Obviously, gold super sold off on the 4-hour, right? But we're breaking this swing low as we just showed. We broke that swing low. So since we broke that swing low, if we want to continue this trend, I want to see some type of retest, some type of reset on the oscillator, and then maybe head into this higher order block here. So it'd be really cool to see there if we get that. And actually, my mistake, we didn't fully mitigate this order block, or it's trying to right now. So this last 4-hour didn't. You'll see it's flickering on and off because of the candle close. In order for these to completely confirm that they are broken, it has to close beneath it. Now, it's off right now, but if this candle were to retrace back on this order block here, if it were to retrace back into it, then that order block will pop back up. But for now, it has been broken on this candle. So that's what we'll watch out for in this next 4-hour session. For now, super bearish, had that breaker structure and did change of character. The lower high off this order block up here, which is awesome, and heading lower. And there you go. This turning point here after a reject could have been a nice little trade at the downside. Let's jump over to Bitcoin. Again, guys, if you want me to look over anything, let me know. Just type it in the chat right now. We can look over anything that you want to. That's on TradingView, of course, and not some silly altcoins or anything like that. Let's look at mains or some forex pairs or whatever you want to see, but nothing too low cap, please. But Coinbase with the Bitcoin chart, let's take a look. Currently, a nice little retest of this order block down here. We did touch it and had that reaction there. For you scalpers seeing that on the 4-hour, I could have jumped in. Let's just say we circle that. Let's see where that is. There you go. I could have jumped in on a scalp possibly off of this change of character for a nice little, one candle move. But in my opinion, I wait for something that's occurring right now. Not a huge fan of that change of character that's happening to the downside there. But potential trend change is possibly forming on a Bitcoin 5-minute. But looking at the 4-hour, not a huge fan. I would still lean bearish on this as we rejected this, which we saw last week. Remember, last Thursday, I think is when we streamed, we saw this rejection of that order block, and we were somewhere right here. Let's see. Yep. Last Thursday was right here where we're getting this sell signal. Well, from that, if you would have waited for this break here, we could have had a very nice trade off of that for a 2.5% move. So overall, nice little rejection there to continue this little bit of a sell-off that we had off of the first initial flag of that order block. Remember, order block and the turning points or order block and the reversal signals on the oscillator were lining up, so that was a good indication. If that money flow tried to decrease, you could have taken a lower risk, maybe half position size, trying to call the top type situation. So I'd always recommend, if you do notice that you're at a top and you do think that's a significant level of reject, you probably want to just hold back or size down. So that's always good. Let's take a look here. Bitcoin 4 hour. I would want to possibly retest this order block or see if we do close lower, or sorry, higher here. Let me put that price line on, and have that money flow switch beforehand. But for the 5 minute potential trade off that order block here, if you would have scaled in after you saw that turning point on the 4 hour, as well as that reversal signal, could have been a decent little scalp. But for now, same type of situation, change character after a break of structure as gold. Let's take a look at the Euro USD. So obviously that's the most popular traded forex, and wow, very bearish, extremely. Let me change the sensitivity to 10 because it's telling me to. But again, here we got a change of character shortly after the signal. Never broke the smart trail, back to a sell signal. There, the sensitivity was probably different. So that's the other thing, guys. If you see, so it was 10. So definitely a level of significance here because it was showing the chop signals. So oscillator flattened out, signal, change of character. We would have had to break that smart trail if we wanted to take it, but noticing this bearish money flow, definitely not going to take it during that little chop there that we had. But after this big break to the downside here on the 4 hour, could have taken a setup somewhere. If we get a reject here, maybe somewhere possibly here. But as of now, because of that change of character, I probably wouldn't have taken it. For the current market session, we're showing a lot of support, as you can tell. We broke that low there. Now we're trying to see if this wants to continue low or not. Got that BOS. So this is the first sign of one of my favorite setups. Got the BOS. I want to see a bullish change of character. Let me remove that drawing there. I'm going to take off the signals and overlays for now so we can, because there's a lot of upside order blocks. So we've been very bearish, right? Extremely bearish on the 4 hour. Euro's been just diving. So there's going to be some type of nice reaction soon, I'm sure. The oscillator has been just evening out over the 50 here, and now it's finally extended like more than it has been. So at some point, I do want to look for a potential upside trade on the euro here, but we're getting those two reversal signals already. If we get a setup, this flips on the money flow, change character occurs, you get that break of the smart trail there. We could have a potential setup on the 4 hour, but 4 hour for now, bearish. We do have a key level, it looks like, that we're coming down to here. If we turn on, obviously, our bigger order blocks, let's put up 500 here, and then turn off hide overlap and see if we are running into one or not. And we do. Look at all this. Look at all this support. All this support here on the Euro USD. So this sub 105.5 looks like I'm going to be looking for a level of reaction. There's a lot of support down there coming from multiple levels. Now this is coming from me not hiding overlaps. If I check that hide overlap, you'll see that 6% order block sitting there. But like Mickey likes to do, you take away the hide overlap and you can see where a lot of that volume might be sitting. So seeing this right here all together with an extended oscillator, this is what I'll be looking for a potential bounce range here. We got a range to bounce in. So let's see if we can get a retracement down to here. Okay. in this sub 105.5 on the Euro USD, then you look for a long potentially. The first up somebody suggested was the NASDAQ. We're going to jump back over to some US futures. The NASDAQ here. This is the price action concepts indicator by LuxAlgo for those of you asking, using signals and overlays, which is the signals and overlays. As you can see, the trend following kit with the price action kit, which is the order blocks, and then the matrix, oscillator matrix, all in LuxAlgo's premium suite. We do have quite a bit of free indicators as well. If you go to LuxAlgo.com, type in, you go to the library, actually. You might as well, you know what? I'm just going to show you real quick. So yeah, if you go to our website, you click the library tab, you can see a lot of our, you can click like a big one is smart money. Smart money concepts is similar to our price action concepts, just doesn't have the volumetrics on the order blocks. But you can go on here and you can get access to MetaTrader, NinjaTrader, TradingView, Thinkorswim, whatever you want on here. But it gives you those order blocks, just no volume metrics. It's a lot more dumbed down version of the price action concept. So go check that out, LuxAlgo.com, the free smart money concepts indicator. If you do want to test out the one where you get the volume metrics and you see the overlaid order blocks and all of that, you can get it 30 days risk-free on the website. But let's go back to the charts, look at the NASDAQ, and see where we're sitting. Okay, first thing I notice for the NASDAQ 4-hour here is entering this order block, previous support. We do have one down here as well. If we bump up, of course, the actually, they didn't. No order block down here, which is pretty cool. So we'll see here this level, this 14,808, 14,800, right? Previous bounce level. We're still inside that order block. We like to look for a potential trade outside of the order block. So when we're in that 4-hour order block, not necessarily we want to make a trade in that order block. What I'm noticing though is this oscillator is starting to uptrend down here. I did that. I'll delete that. I'm noticing the oscillator starting to uptrend, right? It's moving up while the price is moving down. So a little bit of divergence occurring. If we can get that money flow to flip on the NASDAQ, this could be our first level of bouncing. Noticing we were up in this higher range here. This was inevitable if we did have some bad consumer confidence / home sales. So for this setup by itself, we can zoom in on the 5-minute, see if there's any trades today. Remember, trade sensitivity for me it'd be 18. I need to turn off all those order blocks. Look at all those order blocks because I took off the so this is one thing so on the 4-hour it's good to probably have all those order blocks so you can see them all, but on the 5-minute you can notice how many of them pop up like that. You could obviously still trade them because look at all these look at the overlapped order blocks lining up at this level. Guess what happened at this level? We tick that off. We had 3 bounces happen at this level. Why did that happen? Why couldn't we spot that level? Well, you could have with the price action concepts indicator. You can notice how many order blocks were sitting there. There's at least 2 from before. Popped into a change character, and now we're we would have had small scalps on that 5-minute, but essentially that level super significant there. And we didn't have to even go back and plot it ourselves. And this is even coming from God knows when. Let's see. This is coming from back in August, right? The August 5-minute turned into support there. So it's like not having to go back and just assume that level might be a level that it would bounce. It's already there for you. So it's like I'm going to take that into consideration. Now, if I would have taken the 5 here, I'm not going to see that if I go down to 5 order blocks, which is default. So that's a good actually thing. And seeing that, I might start trading with 500 because that's pretty awesome. Mickey's been trying to convince me to go to 500, but I mean, now I might just because of that. What do you think, Mickey? You think it's the way to go?
Oh, I'm gonna crank it up to 1,000 pretty soon.
You wanna go? Should I go to it? Is that even? Can it even go that high? What's the peak?
it's a moot point. Once you get over 100, it's all the same.
Okay, so 100 is the highest. It doesn't matter. But again, I kind of like that. Zoomed in here, obviously on the 5-minute. I mean, we're seeing that there was... Okay, so for these settings, by the way, those of you that would probably be asking. Yeah, this works, for those of you asking about if it works for crypto or not, yes. It works for every market that's on TradingView or, you know, any platform you use. But again, for the settings, under the price action concepts indicator, I have volumetric order blocks at 500. I want to see them all, right? And then I'm turning off the hide overlap, because look, we don't see those unless we turn off hide overlap. Pretty much what that does is just gets rid of the ones that are on top of each other. Now, it can get annoying at times, but noticing those spots, right, are going to help with knowing, you know, things like, oh, this level was significant back in August, right? If I look how far back I had to scroll for this. August, that level was significant. Massive order block sitting there, August, right? So I'm not going to just blindly trade this, though. I need to see reaction, and reaction is something like this, where you get, you know, something where this candle doesn't go retest that low, or this candle wipes out the low, closes higher, wipes out the low, closes higher. Those are candle setups that I'm going to be looking for at that level in order to confirm it's a level I would want to trade, right? So I'm not going to trade this unless it shows me that it's reacting to it. So after seeing this, you know, bullish candle here, I might take a slow risk because it's at a low, and then, you know, make my small scalp or whatever it is you're trying to trade. Now, obviously, this is a 5-minute chart, so it'd be a little bit of a scalp. But for the overlaps there, that's a great example of when to potentially take a possible bounce. NASDAQ, though, 4 hours, go back a little bit. Again, we're approaching, and of course, when I hit the scale button now, I have to go all the way back. We're approaching a previous bounce level where order block is not, you know, firing there. We are in a current order block, so seeing if this guy wants to hold up here, 4,800, or sorry, 14,800. So it breaking that low, though, I don't think this is going to hold. So you could potentially hit a short right back down to this bounce somewhere 14,700 or lower. But the oscillator is attempting to reset. So obviously if this is divergence occurring, because the oscillator is moving opposite, there has to be a new low set, which just happened. So if that new low is set, then divergence could set up and you could see a nice big bullish candle. Green and red bar on the order block. Yes, I saw your question. No need to spam it. And yeah, we'll go over the Chach plus BOS setup here in a sec for alerts. But real quick, these volume bars you're seeing here, I mean, you have 3 levels of volume. You have the actual volume number with a percentage. 4% on 5 on order blocks is pretty high. But then you have these bars, right? In my opinion, I want to see a super big difference between these bars. In this case, these bars aren't that far apart from each other. So I think it's a battle between buyers and sellers, of course. But this is literally telling you who was stronger, sellers or buyers at this level. So noticing which one's stronger can help you determine, you know, this level. You have to think opposite. If it's showing more sell volume at that level, then I'm going to consider this more of a buying level, because the sellers might be exhausted at this level. They might be tired of selling at this level. More buying volume, I think the opposite. There might be stronger sellers here. But noticing how close these are, not a big significance between them. I don't really think much other than if there's a reaction, right? So obviously there was a first reaction on the 4 hour here. Seeing this first reaction here, I could have taken, you know, a potential trade. It bounced. This one wiped out that low, closed higher. If I wanted to take a small scalp here on a lower time frame, I could have, and you would have had, you know 8 hours of bullish volume there, because this is the 4 hour chart. But retesting it again, I'm not going to consider this that significant of a level, but it would have given me a tiny little trade there if I wanted to take it. So that's just, yes, we want to look for a significance in the volume, and here you go. This is a better reasoning behind that. We didn't even approach this level, and it started selling off before it even got close to that on the NASDAQ. So noticing that this buying level, these buyers at this level is way stronger than there, then when it retests it, it'll probably have stronger sellers. We're going to go over that in just a second, I promise. Eduardo or whoever's messaging about the BOS and change of character setup, we will go over that. But let me go over another one that somebody mentioned here real quick. Someone said we did the NASDAQ versus Ethereum. Let's go over Ethereum. It's gonna be similar to Bitcoin, of course. So yeah, I mean, we're in a little bit of consolidation here. Let's pop on the signals and overlays. We're in that consolidation. We set a lower low, but guess what? Could a higher low be set here? If a higher low is set, right, that's the first initial sign of a trend change. All right, so noticing the change character we had a change character, had a strong signal, we had a break of structure. If we get a change of character somewhere up here, then I might look for a trade to the upside. Oscillator is starting to flip. Oscillator already reset. So this is, this is getting bought up a little bit here. Obviously, below 1600 is super resistance that's happening right here at the 1592 at that order block there. Super resistance. So in my opinion, you got 2 hours left of this candle. This setup so far doesn't look very bullish. I wouldn't be looking bullish, especially because we're in strong sell volume right now. Oscillator's also reset. So we might get a retest of this low, which was sitting, around 1564. So Ethereum right now, I want to see a breakout for change character or a retest of this low. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like it wants to go out any higher, but it'll depend on this 4-hour close. So let's see the main points of the oscillator. Can you show how it works in Nifty 50? We're going to go through as many features and assets that we can look at. We'll do the SP 500 again for sure, but for now, Ethereum, I like it lower, but not a setup at the moment for the 4-hour. Let's just jump into the 5-minute and check it out, and get past all these crazy order blocks. But I mean, there you go. You had that reject here already off the order block, coming down lower. But in my opinion, I'm looking bullish at some point, right? So this is technically starting to set up our setup, except if this change character occurs, then it's not. So right now on Ethereum, if Ethereum were to bounce and not print that change of character, then for me could be a potential long setup, right? Because what do I notice? I notice the only thing that's would be keeping me from it is the oscillator not flipping to the money flow, or not flipping to bullish money flow. But I do like the strong signal, the change of character after a break of structure, and then the flipping of the smart trail, and then obviously the oscillator's already gone to the overbought side, right? So this oscillator could be resetting, and it's already starting to reset. So I would want to see this candle not print that change of character. So long as it doesn't do that and it closes higher, we get a turning point on the oscillator. I would take a low risk to reward long, probably target the upper order blocks. So for 5-minute there, it is having our setup except for a potential change of character that is occurring here. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But now I'll go over the BOS change of character setup for an alert. So initially, all you need to do is go into set. Oh, get that back. So if you want to get alerted for a BOS and change character setup, you need to first go to the time frame you want. So let's say we wanted it on this 5-minute. 9 times out of 10, though, there is one thing that you can't do right now, and we'll probably eventually add that feature. But you can't have 2 market structures be triggered. If you can, Mickey, do you know if you can have 2 market structures on a a step alert creator?
No, not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay. So the nice part is, though, for this particular setup, I honestly think it's 100% of the time, but it might be, it's probably not 100% of the time, but it is quite often. So if you want something similar to this, you do your market structure. So if we're looking for now on the bull side, step one would be internal bearish break a structure. So the very bottom one down here, hopefully you guys can see that. Internal bearish break a structure. This is under the price action concepts, under the custom alert creator at the very bottom, right? For those of you that want to get alerted every time that occurs. Market structure, internal bearish break a structure. That'd be your step one, right? Then what I do is I go to order blocks, because notice order block popped up before the change of character. So if usually an order block, if there is one, it's going to pop up. And honestly, I kind of want to see a bullish order block occur for this to happen. So a lot of the times there's going to be a bullish order block that occurs with that change of character. So I'm going to go and check bullish order block as my step two. And then you'll notice that once I have that set and hit OK, you'll see this little blue dot right here. And when it triggers, it triggered right here. And so what I can do is if I want to be alert every time that happens, I then go into my price action concepts indicator here. I click more there, or I just right click on an order block and I say add alert to price action concepts. I click this any alert function call. I scroll all the way down till I see custom alert condition. I check that and I click only once per bar close, and then I hit create. So now every single, also that close change character, but every single time that triggers there, it's going to alert me. Okay, so you can alert, get that alert there. So if we look in the past here, BOS into change of character. What happened? We had a move from here. We had a high of 6 points there. I don't know, points in Ethereum. I don't know, but 0.39% there, right? If we go through again, let's look. So something that we really enjoyed using. Boom. Change of character after a BOS. Right here. Boom. I mean, my goodness. Where did this go? This was, wow, this is crazy. Okay. This one had a 1.62% move. And we would have gotten alert right here. 1.26% move. 25 points. For those of you, this was an alert right here. This one had a failed setup of 0.17. Notice the difference here, though. This is where you can, set up a separate alert on the signals and overlays as well to help you identify when it's breaking out of a trend or not, right? So in this case, this change of character occurred during a range, right? This one occurred after it broke a swing low, right? Before it had that massive move, and we would have gotten that alert. So what I would suggest is if you do have that alert set up, is go look at it, see what happened. Okay, you see, oh, it broke these lows here. Obviously, we have this really crazy wick down here, but again, oh, it broke its structure, right? It broke its structure, broke the swing structure. It showed a trend, so a higher probability of this hitting a bigger trend after, breaking those, you might call it buy side liquidity or whatever you want to call it. Breaking these lows, right? It swept those lows, had that change of character occur after BOS. Boom, hit 1.5%, 1.6%. So if I go back now, we look at it again, like here, this change of character would have failed there, had a nice, little leg up there, but I'm not a big fan of it being, that high. That swing structure, not a big fan. I want to see a proper move, not something drastic like that. So we need to see really good swing structure before we take any, type of trade. It's like this was way after hours, but it still had a potential move here. This one, off this one, 3 points. But let's move on to the next asset. Hopefully that made sense. I know I have all these order blocks up, but recently been a nice little thing to use on the lower time frames from what we were seeing. Now I'm using the price action concepts indicator by LuxAlgo. You can try it for 30 days just free right now at luxalgo.com. And okay, went over that. Let's look into the next asset we want to look at. People were suggesting. Heiko said the SP 500 a few times. Like, yeah, I mean, I love the SP 500, so why not? I will always look at the SP 500. Oh, that is not the right SP 500. That's some Everstone. Okay, super bearish day on ES. First off, look at that. Let's drop this down to what it told us, 16. Heck of a day for signals and overlays for sure. Again, these are trend following, right? If it's not in a trend formation, then it's ranging. So I need to probably check that off. So if I look, okay, price or this trend following tool is flat, right? I check that off. Boom. Don't have to use it. So seeing that, I'm not worried. But today, nice little trend flip that we had. This had a not our exact setup that we like. Obviously, we like to see that BOS. But we had a change of character, a strong signal, if I can get up there. We had a strong signal and a nice little reject here after a retrace on the oscillator, and then wham, at a nice lower low. So the only way I take a trade on this retracement, for one, if we were to go back, check it. Go back here. If it'll pull up. Notice this ain't sideways, this is down, right? Oscillator already went to extended, but it came from the bull side, right? Strong signal, bearish change of character came from a strong side. Then there it continued that trend here. Once I get that turning point, I want to take the trade. There, obviously, it's at a low. So it's like, do I want to short this? I could look for a retracement if I wanted to. But even there, I could have taken a short and had, 2 or 3 legs down. So it's depending on where we're at. Obviously, we were at that low. We just broke that low. But I could have still taken that trade there because I knew the oscillator reset, so it was ready to extend again. So seeing that there, small risk reward. I mean, even if we would have taken it off that spot here, I would have put my stop over the swing high, which is, lower high there. Probably gone 1-to-1 is usually what I do if it's at a low like that. Oh, why are you buying a low? Well, everything's telling me that it's gonna head lower there. Why wouldn't I take that, especially with everything lining up? But again, 1-to-1, more than likely, I would have sized down. If I normally buy 5 lots, I'd probably buy 2.5. I'd go 50% because we're at a low. Why would I be crazy and buy at a low? But again, if this is a crazy volume day, we're getting big sell-offs. I don't want to miss this trade, but I still want to wait till everything lines up for me. So even taking that trade there would have set me up for a nice 1-to-1. Could have had a clean profit. That's 11 points. 11 points on ES is massive. So like, why I'm gonna lower my risk because it's 11 points, but even with a lower risk, 11 points would have been huge for futures traders. Reject to the smart trail there, had another leg down. I mean, plenty of opportunities. Obviously now we're selling off yet again. So even with this reset here, you could have taken a trade there if you want a low. This was super low risk. You could take off we can take off signals and overlays. Bam, oscillator turning point. Off this high volume reject there, boom, above order block. We're already, goodness, we're already nearly 12 points in profit here. But again, if we want to go, 1, 2, oh wait, I have it opposite. I'm like, what am I doing here? Why is it not coming up right? But it's because I have the long position. But again, here, really weak buy volume here. The money flow dead center there is still super weak for the bull side. Would have flipped that there, boom. Why not follow the trend and be smart about it? Almost hit 2-to-1 already on that. Could have just drop your stop to break even, let it ride, see where this thing goes. ES though, let's look back a time frame. Go to that 4-hour. Man, look at all these order blocks. Got the 500 order blocks up, but we can see, 41.30 might be our next level. We have 3 or 4 order blocks sitting there. Yep. Look at all this consolidation that occurred. That's a lot of volume that traded through this back in May. Good target, right? Good target. Volume was super weak. Volume was super weak coming through here, obviously. I mean, sorry, strong bull volume, but like we have this gap to fill we were talking about. Gap's right there. So for now, if we zoom in here, obviously it looks weird. It looks crazy like this, right? But we want to see all our levels. If we zoom in, we got it. We got a target now. Boom. 426925, dead center of that order block. But if we want to go to the top of that order block, if we would have taken a short, you know, I don't know, on the 4 hour here. I mean, we got a nice move here down here, almost 2-1 on a 4 hour. That's 73 points. Sheesh, 73 points. That's wild. That'd be a heck of a trade if you had that. Oscillator is still in a downtrend as well. Notice that. We do need to set, if we set a lower high on the oscillator here with this sell-off, maybe get a divergence. We had a very small divergence, but again, good divergences have space. They have space to create that divergence like this space, right? This divergence, let's look at it. Divergence was signed. That's what that red line there is, flagging divergences, right? We had a very baby divergence here, still called a top, fell down, gapped up with that news, gapped up, but then we had a nice turning point here. Obviously, we swept these highs, but shortly after, guess what? If we would have re-entered short on this 4 hour, I mean, see you later. I don't even want to know how big of a move that was off that. Let me see. 242 points. I mean, that's quite impressive. I don't like you could retire 242 points on the ES. But SP 500, yeah, 4270. I mean, the market does not look good right now. This is big news driven. Got a gap. Remember, we talked about this gap here. I would say let's fill that gap first. 4,300 right now. Probably the level we're heading to. Psychological level. You know, it's one of those 100 levels. Like always, you're going to see some buyers at 4,300. So we'll go and see that possibly soon. Oscillator is reset a little bit too on that. So we might see it real low. Let's see here. I wonder how this setup did. Look at this. Had a nice little setup there. I'm trying to see how the change of character worked here. And here you go. Here's a great example of good market structure, right? Break that BOS, get that change of character. I mean, that's a nice setup there. You get a nice strong break of structure. It flips on you there. The lows got swept. Bam, lows got swept. That 4 hour closed bullish. You go beep, 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 all the way up. Change of character right there. Bam. Take your long entry, swing low trade 4 hour, and you had about a week of just bull action. So that'd have been a real nice BOS change of character setup. Again, these logically make sense, right? This here, to me, logically doesn't make sense. Why we got BOS, like volatility out the wazoo right there. So I wouldn't take a change of character after that. If we got a strong enough thing that struck out these guys, not that guy. But again, logical price action. That's not logical. Logical price action is what we like to see. And knowing what's happening, right? So let's see here. Please make an indicator that highlights sideways market while it's moving. And you can use that with the trend following tool, right? Trend following signals and overlays. You tell me right now where price is sideways and where price is trending. Right? Sideways. This here had a setup. Oh, but it flattened out, right? This is what we talk about. This needs to continue. This is still sideways. Had a setup and it flipped back. Still sideways. And there you go. Tell me which one looks like a trend. It's this one, right? This one here. Ooh, looks like a trend because it's trending. Sideways. This one here had an opportunity. What's the difference here is that it flattened out, right? If that would have retraced and then it broke out, we would have had that trend opportunity, but it flattened out right here. Potential setup you know, if it would have occurred here. But what happened? That's why we have the oscillator. This at first looked like a trend, right? Look at the oscillator. It's way overbought right here. Why would I buy when oscillator's way overbought? So there you go. Sideways, 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 sideways. Wham. Trend. So again, what happened? Oscillator, turning point. Oscillator, turning point here. Comes bearish, resets. Wham. Hammer it right there. Resets. Had that leg down. So just, that's why you wait. That is why you wait. We got about 10 minutes here. 10 more minutes here for me. 1 second. I'm just checking on something. And then our main man Mickey's gonna fly in with some tips on ways you can utilize different features using these premium indicators. So, wow, yeah, what a sell-off there. Let's go look back at some. I don't understand the big red line. Something. I can't read the. Sorry. 4-hour Starbucks stock. What is Starbucks ticker? That's bucks. So, talking about this guy? That's what he's talking about. Can somebody tell me what that is? Because
it looks very smart to me.
It looks very smart to me. That's the smart trail. Smart trail flipped. Smart trail flipped there. That's what that red line is. And it is not looking great. Oscillator is also on the downside there. So let's see if 1 second. All right. Sorry. All right. Oscillator obviously oversold here at 20, right? This guy flipped on the smart trail. I don't like it with the oscillator there. Now, obviously, we want the oscillator what? To reset. Reset oscillator. If that oscillator resets, we have a long ways to break back on that smart trail. This could actually set up for a nice downtrend move or whatever you want to call it. So oscillator reset, and then downside we see potentially back at these levels, right? We pull up the order blocks. What do we got? We got order blocks down here to watch. So are we going to reset to these levels? 3.1 million down there at 82. These are all saying 0% because there's 500 of them or however many I had. But obviously, if you get a percentage value on one of these, then that's even more significant. But we can see the overall. The volume where it says 3.1 million, 1.2 million. We can see it right there. So that being stated, 3.1, I know that, you know, there's probably a higher percentage volume there. So purple candles, it can just depend on if you have your sensitivity optimized, or if you're using autopilot sensitivity, like short term, midterm, something like that. But that's good. There you go. So if you have the midterm autopilot, Starbucks, not so far. Tiny little purples there, but not really showing any purple candles. So showing very strong bearish volume there, which meant the autopilot can be very helpful if you don't want to have to go through, switch the sensitivity every time. I do like seeing it personally. I like seeing all the data, I like to see the optimized sensitivity at the time that I'm trading, right? Remember, throughout the trading sessions, that sensitivity does change. But in this current session that we're in right now, sensitivity 14 is the one we go with because that's what it tells us. 62% trend strength there. Let's look at something else. Can you make a video in the market with the best strategy? Let's see. Looking at questions. Does this work on Forex? Yeah. Is there any Forex pair you guys want to see? Okay, here we go. We got somebody want to see GBPAUD. Yeah, the pound and the dollar, the Australian dollar. Take a look at that for. Who asked for that? All right. Take a look. Sensitivity 18. This is the 4-hour chart, of course. 18. We got a few levels of divergence here, right? But we have no bullish action. We need to see some bullish action occur with this divergence. We had a little bit there, but again, never broke that smart chart or anything. We're into, this is the same as the Euro USD. We were, in this massive downtrend, right? But this is potentially setting up for when that reversal occurs, it's going to be a strong reversal. Notice, Oscillator was trending down, and it's still trending down. But look at the lows. The lows are getting squeezed too on the Oscillator. So there's two things that could be happening here. This could obviously be resetting to go lower, or it could be setting up to potentially finally have that rebound, right? So I would want to see this thing hold this order block. 4% order block's pretty high here. So maybe we'll get that bounce off this level. But if we can get that structure shift somewhere off of one of these lower highs, I might potentially look for, a possible long off those levels. Obviously, we have another high volume order block down here that we could target. But again, we have lows here. We have an order block here. Let's see if this level would like to hold that support. If it does, we'll probably get that retracement. But again, all these markets right now are just getting really, really hurt from the news that has been coming out this week. Reset on the Oscillator, in my opinion, is anywhere 60 on the upside. So you can see it's like anywhere that's as close as it can get to the 50 point. Right, I want to see that. Somebody did ask earlier to go over the Oscillator real quick, and let's just do that real fast, and then we're gonna pass over to Mickey for some tips. But real quick, for the Oscillator, wrong one. A lot of things you can change around. I like doing default, of course. I'll turn on the confluence meter as well. But first off. Also, we have an alert, custom alert set up here that you can also add to alert function call and an external one under the price action concepts if you wanted to. But again, we got, money flow, the smart money flow. We got the hyperwave and the reversal signals and the confluence levels. So first thing is we have the hyperwave, which is the middle thing here, right? That's the hyperwave. Like a normal oscillator, like a MACD, RSI type situation. Yeah, the hyperwave. And that there is where I like to see turning points because that can initially be an entry for me. I like using turning points as potential entries if everything else is lining up for me. But again, looking for that to reset is another big thing for me is I want to see these things come back, not be overextended. You would have the overextended levels like you see on the RSI as well. Middle lines here is called the money flow, right? Where's the money? Where's the money? You have a threshold line here. That's what these little lines are. And you know what? I'm going to turn off this hyperwave so you can see the, I got to turn off these guys too. Hold on. Ooh, those are the wrong ones. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I got to do this to 100%. Bam. Oh, I know. Wrong one. The colors, I think. There we go. All right. Now, next up, money flow, right? Money flow here is pretty straightforward. This is the flow of money going in and out of the market and being smoothed out on an oscillator. So, big thing you want to watch is that threshold. Yeah, sure, the money flow flipped here, but it's very low. What happened to price? Well, look, price was breaking out, but it failed, right? Well, look, money flow is super weak and never met that threshold, so no reason to take that trade. That's a level of confluence where it can keep me out of a trade. Money flow, though, that has this dual coloring, that's called the overflow. A lot of sell volume occurring during that time. So that might be a trigger to potentially take a trade for the long or short side. Here didn't occur as much, even though we had this, big sell-off here. Had this nice little sell-off. The overflow didn't occur, but notice though, the just the difference between this and this peak here. So like that is showing that bearish money flow is definitely stronger, even though we didn't have the overflow. Bearish flow is still stronger. So just noticing the cloud, differences for sure. You can visually see that. Look, bullish or bearish flow super small, bullish flow super large. Even though it didn't meet that threshold at the time, it could have still indicated a nice, potential small uptrend or something. So seeing the overflow obviously helps a ton. But then we got reversal signals. We got big and small reversal signals. Let me turn on the hyperwave again. Go back to 80 on here. Turn on that hyperwave. So we do have the reversal signals, right? The little guys. For me, I want to see those kind of line up with the turning point if I were to take a trade. So like that lining up with this. Got a high, got a signal, got to change a character. Bam. Had a nice little downtrend there. So, the money flow flipping does take a little bit longer in making sure it's confirmed. That's a confirmed kind of trend change. It's when that money flow flips, right? But I personally, if depending on where you're at, if you're noticing a lot of resistance, you got a reject order block, got a signal, got to change characters, like everything's lining up, got, reversal signals on the oscillator as well. It's like you can ignore the money flow as long as the money flow is decreasing, right? So here's the peak was on this guy. We bring this down, got a peak signal here on this guy. That means change character, bearish signal. Look at the time. We had a turning point. All that lined up right here. Actually, that lined up there. Then we had that bearish signal. But notice, right, that money flow on the oscillator was also decreasing. So long as that's downtrending, it could potentially, since it had a lot of bull volume, could be exhausted now that buying pressure is coming out of the market. That's just something to another way to use that money flow to help you, identify those tops and possibly market exhaustion when it comes to if it's been trading too high or too hot. You can kind of use that to help you, just be like, okay, it's decreasing and everything else is lining up. I potentially have a setup here for a trend change or whatever you might want to call it. But that leaves it for me. I'll be back at the end to make sure that we close out and go over any last minute questions. Next step is Mickey and his tips. Real quick though, just remember that if you go to our website or the link in the bio, you can get 30 days risk-free right now. Also, 30% off your first order. Use code LUX30. Got 30% off. As well as go to resources. If you want, this is completely free. If you click resources and guides, you can go over for free all of the settings and every feature that all our premium suite offers. That's completely free, just under resources and guides. And also, we do have a library for you to check out with all of our latest indicators. You'll see here, we released one yesterday, range breakout signals. So for those of you that have an idea on an indicator you might want, we might have already created it for free for you guys. So go on here and check that out in the library. You can click on AI or some of these other tags that we have, as well as different platforms you can use some of these indicators on. So go check that out. All of that at LuxAlgo.com. And now we're going to hand it over to our main man, Mickey, for his tips. I just need to pull up his setup here, and we should be good to go.
Awesome stuff.
Right. Go ahead, Mickey. You good to go?
All right. Am I live?
Yes, sir.
There we go. I see it there. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me again. And great job on your analysis. Love that. Love that. As for me, I like to... Actually, I'm pivoting for quite some time already. I love my 4-hour charts. I'm targeting larger, take profits, and it's been very good. it has allowed some extra time for me during the week and during the days. I don't have to really stare at my chart too much, but yet I'm still in the VIP Discord every day, right? Anyway, we had the dollar index on a 4-hour chart, right? It's a basic signals and overlays chart with premium discount zones of price action concepts. I just enabled those just for visually helping me analyze the most recent midterm swing structure. Okay, that's all that is. Okay, the dollar is screaming bullish. You know, the story has not changed for quite some time, right? And if we are dealing with forex pairs, we have some correlation going on and inverse correlation. Okay, first one is Big Daddy Euro USD. Okay, when the dollar goes up, Euro USD typically goes down because the dollar is in the second half of the pair, right? The next major symbol I look at is the market itself, the S&P ES Mini, right? So here is my 4-hour signals and overlays chart with a nice red background, you know, blood red, right? Okay, that's down, right? Next one I look at is Bitcoin. Okay, I don't trade Bitcoin, but it's nice to know what crypto's market is doing. Okay, a little choppy, but I will show you how to navigate around this in the price action concepts template I have. Okay, before we head over to the price action concepts, I want to stay with signals and overlays, right? I want to show you a very simple concept. Back in my old Lux days, back to basics. It still works, okay? This is something that you can use and build on top of to create your own strategy, okay? It's not a complete strategy, but it's a start to build your own, okay? Let's head over to the dollar index, right? And I'll explain this to you. Let me turn off the premiums and discount zones, okay? And let me hide the matrix so we can concentrate on signals and overlays, okay? Now let's head over to the settings, right? We have a nice swing trending feature, which I enabled, the Neo Cloud, okay? I have this on autopilot long term, okay? There's no right or wrong way. I like autopilot. You can also use the signals sensitivities with the dashboard, but for this example, we're gonna make it nice and easy to follow, okay? Right now I have long term. Let's turn on the signal mode, okay? Confirmation plus exits, okay? Let's give it some time. Okay, right now we are on the dollar index. It's obvious we are on an uptrend. So how do I scalp this, right? I always mention top-down analysis, right? I trade the lower time frame in the direction of a higher time frame bias. Here's what you could do, okay? You could take your drawing tool, right? And I am gonna box this uptrend and I'm gonna show you an example of what to look for, right? On this same chart, I'm gonna bring it down to a 15-minute time frame, or let's just do an hour, okay? There's no right or wrong answer. You could do 30 minutes, an hour, or 5 minutes, whatever your style is, okay? Let's do an hour, okay? Higher time frame is 4 hour, uptrend. I am going to take my scalps on a lower time frame, which I will change to a 1 hour, okay? On the same chart, I'm going to change it to 1 hour, okay? We have the same box being drawn, okay? Let me condense this a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm looking at, okay? Now, Take a look at this. Let me flip it back. On a 4 hour, there's one signal here. Bullish entry to the upside. If you're going to base your decisions on the signals, I bring it down to a lower time frame of 1 hour and locate where are those signals. All right. Let's pan all the way to the left. This is where the 4 hour begins as uptrend. I am going to look for long entries on a 1 hour time frame. I want to see the Neo Cloud in the same direction as the 4 hour, and I want to see the actual signals in the same direction. So I'm looking for bullish. So let's scan real quickly. There's one signal, nice scalp. You avoid, you pass on these bearish signals, okay? I'm only looking for bullish. There's another bullish run, right? There's another bullish run.
Remember, there's also a Neo Cloud filter as well.
Yeah, another bullish run, okay? Awesome, right? That is the simplest way you can trade signals and overlays. And then with this, you can start adding other features, right? To create your own strategies, okay? Now, as Jacob says, you can do this automatically. If you don't want to filter these out on your own, if you don't want to analyze market structure or the ebb and flow of price action, make your life easier. There's a preset, all right? Here we go. You go in here. Neo Cloud. All right. I want to see signals in the direction of the Neo Cloud. It's going to filter some, but not all, okay? Because it's looking at one single time frame, which is the 1 hour, okay? Now you will see signals in the direction of the Neo Cloud. Here's a red Neo Cloud, right? Bearish signal, but we are not taking this because my strategy is a 4 hour template, okay? Bullish, 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 bullish. Game over, right? You're done. Lock it up. You're done for the month, okay? Let's take a look at another example, right? Let's take a look at Forex, my favorite pair, Euro USD. We'll do the same exercise, all right? There we go. Let's hide the matrix so we can concentrate on the signal overlays. We'll hide the price action concepts, premium and discount zones. We will turn on the signals, right? Confirmation exits. We'll leave it on long term, okay? We will draw the box around the trend, all right? There we go. Color this red. There you go. Okay. Now let's go down to a lower time frame so I can scalp this. 1 hour. Change this to a 1 hour. Okay. I am looking for bearish signals. Okay. There's one. There's another one. 2 winners in a row. 2 past winners in a row. There's another bearish signal, right? Give me another one. And that's it. This one fired off right here, okay? This one fired off on the 1 hour before the 4 hour fired off, okay? You could take it because right here, you can see the Neo Cloud flip, right? But in general, that is the concept. It works on all symbols, right? It's an easy strategy where you could build on top of this, right? What do you mean by build? Right. Well, this is what you could do. Add the matrix. Fine-tune your entries, right? The matrix can help you with your own trade management. It could time your entries and time your exits. Okay. Let's look at one more example. ES-E-mini. I'm going to go through all the major markets right here on this simple concept. The dollar index, the Euro USD, and the last major symbol is the S&P. Okay. Go to the S&P, 4 hour, okay? Let's enlarge this, hide the matrix, hide the price action concepts, premium and discount zones. Let's turn on the signals, right? I have this on long term, right? What's next? Let's draw the box so we could visually see what is going on here. There's the box, okay? Now, we're gonna bring this down to 1 hour, okay? Now, depending on the symbol and asset you're using or you're trading, you could leave the autopilot at long term, right? Or you can change it to midterm or short term, whatever your style is to help you, okay? Here's an example. Let's do, since I'm kind of familiar with the futures market, it's a little bit faster than Forex. So thereby, maybe I don't want to leave it on autopilot long term. Maybe I want to change it manually like Jacob does with the sensitivity. Or maybe I'll leave it on autopilot and bring it down to short term. Okay, let's do that. There we go, go into settings. Here's the autopilot sensitivity, right? Let's do short term. Because with the futures, each tick it's kind of big, right? You know, when you suffer those pullbacks, you know, your heart beats a second, right? It skips a beat. But let's take a look at short term, right? We'll save that. There you go. I'm only looking for shorts. 1, 2, 3. 3 winners in a row. You're not going to win all the time, right? But you can be successful all the time with good trade management, right? Learn how to close out for a small loss. Learn how to move your stop loss to break even, right? Learn how to close and not be greedy. Take what you can get, okay? So that is the basics of signals and overlays. Back to basics, right? With this simple concept, you can start building onto this, right? Building onto this meaning add matrix to your chart. Add price action concept order block levels to your chart. See where you're going, meaning see where those key levels are, right? Those key levels could be your target levels, right? Or they could be levels that you don't want to trade into because price is too close to those levels, right? The reward is not big enough to offset the risk that I'm going to take this trade, right? If price is heading into an order block and it's too close for comfort, guess what? Back off and wait for another setup, okay? Now let's head over to price action concepts. Dollar index. Here is my 4-hour order block template. Okay, let's head over to the settings. All right. I have 1 million order blocks shown, right? Doesn't matter. I like to see a lot of them on my chart, just like Jacob details, right? Currently, I have the overlaps hidden because just want to declutter this and give you like a good example what I'm looking at, okay? With the price action concepts, I do not like to trade inside of an order block, right? Here's an order block, right? This block right here, this is a breaker block order block. I do not like to trade inside of that block, okay? That's just a rule. That's just a rule for me. I focus on one rule, one concept. I like to trade the reaction away and into an order block, but I don't like to trade inside an order block, okay? So look what happened and look what transpired today on the dollar index. Here is path number 1. Dollar index. Boom. That is the long path. Okay. Here is a short path that could have happened. All right, let's do it over here. All right, that could have happened. All right. Every time I bring up a price action concepts 4-hour template, in my mind, I am drawing out two paths. These are the two paths I will only look for a trade. The path is the bullish path, right? Above an order block. The second path is a bearish path below an order block, right? So today and overnight, the dollar index took the bullish path. Let's delete that, concentrate on the bullish path. Okay. This is where I'm looking for a trade on a lower time frame. Okay. When price starts to touch, let's enlarge this. When price starts to touch a 4-hour order block, I go down to a lower time frame, such as a 15-minute, right? And I want to see price action break to the upside. And depending on market conditions or any news that had just occurred, I will take that trade. Do or die, that is my rule, and I'll take that trade. I may lose, I may win. If I lose, so be it, right? But eventually I will have more winners than losers because I have tested this to my style, okay? Let's take a look at another symbol, all right? Let's go over to the S&P ES futures, okay? Let's enlarge this, 4 hours, okay? Take a look at this. Look at that. Here is ES heading down, right? These are the two paths I was looking at. Looking for the rejection off of that order block. This arrow's not cooperating. There you go. Okay, let's enlarge that. It never happened. Hands off. That's why I didn't trade the ES today. It never happened. But what could happen is this. Well, I am really watching this closely. This could happen right now. Most likely this will happen, right? I am concentrating right here, right? I want to see price break below this order block and retest this 4-hour order block. And on a lower time frame, I want to see a market structure break to the downside below a 4-hour order block. So what do I mean by that? How do I visually see that? On my 15-minute price action concepts template on the ES futures, right? I overlay a 4-hour order block on top of my chart. Let's head over to the 15-minute. Okay, here's the 15-minute, right? I got some market structures enabled, some fair value gaps and whatnot. Okay, that is one instance of price action concepts. I am going to add a second price action concept, right? Disable all the features, except I will leave the order blocks visible on a 4-hour time frame. Let's head over to the settings. Okay, right, this one, right? I have all the structures turned off, right? Look at this. Right now, I'm watching the 4-hour order block being mitigated right here. So let's do this real fast. Order blocks, right? 4 hours. Let me get off of this before this gets mitigated. There we go. Okay, the 4 order block was right here. There we go. You see it right there? Okay. Now I am tentatively waiting for this. This may happen within the next 30 minutes in front of you. Okay. This is the path I'm looking at. This is a 4-hour order block right here. This block right here. That's the 4-hour order block. Okay. This is the path I'm looking at for a trade. And this is happening right in front of your eyes right now. I want to see this. Okay? This is the trade. More than likely, when price breaks below, it's going to retrace, right? Every trend has their ABC moves. Up, down, right? Stair step. Market structure, right? Break of support, another break of support, another one, right? There it goes, it's mitigating, right? It needs to close before this is confirmed, okay? But once it breaks below, how do I visually see this 4-hour order block? This is what I just did, right? I just drew the box here manually, extended over, right? Right there. That's the 4-hour order block right there. Now I'm just waiting for this move. This may happen, I would say, in about 45 minutes. This trade's gonna play out, okay? In theory. So that's how I trade price action concepts on a higher time frame, 4 hours. Okay, let's head over to crypto. Let's do some Bitcoin. All right, let's do some Bitcoin. Here is Bitcoin, 4-hour chart with 4-hour order blocks. Okay, let's squish this down a bit and see what we're seeing right here. What is, let me get rid of the watermark. Okay, what is going on here? Why is this level so important? You know, what right here, why is this level so important? Okay, anyone take a guess? Hey Savio, how you doing? This is a 4-hour order block, right? But look at price action on this 4-hour order block. What is going on here? What is hidden in this level, right? Well, this is what I do. How about we overlay a higher time frame order blocks on top of this 4-hour order block and see what's going on, right? Tell me the story. Let's add price action concepts on a 4-hour, no, on a daily. I want to add the daily order blocks on top of this 4-hour order blocks. Okay. Here's my second. There you go. And we'll go into the settings. I will make sure everything is disabled. How about this? Why don't we change this? Now we'll just leave that daily. It's on daily. Let me turn off this so it'll be decluttered a little bit. Okay. There we go. This green box right here is a daily. That's the daily. Okay. See? These are the 4-hour order blocks. I'll turn this back on, and there's the daily. There is your price reaction. That is why. Price is having a hard time busting through a daily order block. Okay? This green. This larger, thick order block right here is also a daily order block. Let me turn this off and show you. Okay? We have a 4-hour order block, and I'll turn on the daily. Then we have the daily. It's being overlapped. This is another powerful level. And that is why we are chopping around these levels back and forth. Since when? Since a month ago. Okay? So that's how I trade price action concepts. It's very simple. It's a very simple concept that I focus on, right? And when you zoom down to a lower time frame of price action concepts, sure, use your SMC or ICT entry conceptual, trade management. You can use the change of structure, inducement candle, watch for the fair value gap being formed, place a limit order at the fair value gap and take the entry. Anything, any sound concept that you have been practicing and made it your own, use it. With a 4-hour order block main bias price action concept template, when I go down to a 15-minute, I could go use a signals and overlays on a 15-minute. It does not matter. Whatever your style is, you can always use a 4-hour template as your bias. So that is the point I'm trying to have it hit home. It's not that I'm trying to say my concept is the only way. No, it's not the only way. The point is, with a 4-hour order block, I've shown this on every stream and on week after week and month after month. More times than not, the 4-hour order block means something to price action, right? It is a very powerful key level. So once you know where the 4-hour order blocks are, when you go down to a lower time frame in your personal strategy, right? It could be an ICT price action concept template. It could be just your regular moving average template. It could be signals and overlays template. That's where you can scalp, right? Away from these 4-hour order blocks. So hopefully this tip or trick can help at least one person today, right? Jacob, what do you think? What do you think?
I think you are correct that any higher time frame order block is always going to be more significant than anything low time frame. So having those up the way you showed, where you can have them on the low time frame, is definitely the way to go about it. And obviously with and I'll switch over to my chart here for a second. And I would advise everybody, it's like when you're going, there's that replay mode on TradingView, and you can go back and you can test and see what works the best. So like if we go into that 4-hour order block on the price action concepts here, like notice we're getting it displayed up here. A lot of consolidation occurred on the ES on this one. So if we like go back in replay mode and see, like, let's see if price goes up and reacts to this. Like Mickey said, you want to trade it when these things go in and then outside of the order block. So it's in that 4-hour order block and it comes outside of it for a little bit, comes outside of it there. Look at that reaction it just had.
Yeah, so, wait for that market structure. There you go. Right there. Right? Just
like that. It went inside the order block. The market structure shifted on the outside, rejected there, and now it's back into this lower order block down here already. So just off of that, noticing that, having that 4-hour order block up there, I can say, hey, if this thing comes back out of it at an aggressive move with that market structure change, then maybe I can get an entry off a retest or something like that. Or
pan to the left. Look at your internal activities, right? When that order block formed, you had a huge volume of bullish, right?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So that means the bull players, the bull traders are exhausted. They're done. They're out of breath.
Exactly.
Right. So when price retests that level, right? Who's got more energy? Who's got more endurance?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The sellers. Right.
Exactly. And I mean, and those of you that trade like fibs and everything, you can pull off of these highs and lows, and look at that, it hits that golden pocket right there as well. So it's like there's so many ways you can use this to entice a potential entry. So like, let me just take off. Well, actually, I'm going to just leave that up, actually. Let me take off the overlays, because you'll see, even if we had the overlaps off, another order block on the 4-hour did form at this exact same level. But having the overlap up, we know this level is even more significant. So if we're trading this, we notice there's a swing high. We bust out of this high volume. If you trade FVG, if you trade Fibonacci, you can use that on the side as well. So like I said here, pull the fib from that swing high down to this swing low. Notice it comes up, tests that 618 and the 50, and then we have that push right off of it shortly after. So it's like, it's all of these can be incorporated together alongside, you know, if you're waiting on retracements with Fibonacci's, or again, the other cool thing is in the price action concepts, we also have fair value gaps that you can use. You can put that in. You can see here that off of that initial 5-minute sell-off, we had a retracement to that fair value gap, rejected it, and then now we've, you know, approached this lower order block down here. So there's just so many different ways you can use this in confluence with the you know, the market sentiment or analysis that you already have, right? So and there you go. If you saw that there, that order block got mitigated, right? It came down. More than likely, this order block here would have been my take profit target on a 4-hour, right? From the 4 hours, 4-hour order block got mitigated. So seeing that get mitigated, I don't consider that a significant level. So I go to my next level. Yes, sells off down here, the 4-hour order block. It's inside of it now, right? Let's see if it ends up doing something similar to what we just saw recently. But inside of it, now it's outside of it, retests it. You had a little bit of move and then it mitigates it. So it's a matter of using these, you know, different multi-time frame order blocks with your own analysis. That's going to really help you identify what levels might be more significant than others. So that's just one of the dozens of features that we offer in this premium suite. And so, yeah, I think that's a great place to leave us. I appreciate Mickey coming on here and going over kind of your style of trading using these indicators, and everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate it. Of course, every single week we're going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays for now. A lot of the time, Tuesdays will always be confirmed. Thursdays might differ. It might move to Friday sometimes, but for sure Tuesdays, but we'll let you know otherwise if you're in the Discord or not. And of course, remember, check out the links in the description. Join the Discord. We have a free section as well as a VIP. The VIP comes with the premium suite when you sign up. It's not something that you have to pay for separately or anything like that. You do get full access to the Discord when you sign up for this indicator suite as well. And that's just an additional level of you know, ways you can help understand these indicators. So I would advise any of you that have signed up, or if you want to sign up, when you do, make sure you get in that Discord. You can talk to guys like Mickey and some other pro traders that are using the LuxAlgo indicators just for their own strategies, and also sharing certain strategies with the current updates that we release all the time. So we have a new update coming out for the signals and overlays either later this week or very soon. So stay tuned for that. I think it is this week, but we are constantly developing these indicators to be their very best. So stay tuned for a really cool update that's coming out on the signals and overlays indicator. As well as eventually we'll have more for the price action concept and the oscillator, because we're constantly trying to make sure these things are going to provide you guys with the best trading opportunities as you analyze the markets every single day. So yeah, join the Discord, hang out with Mickey in the VIP if you have signed up. If you're in the free section, we're in and out of there every once in a while. Very well maintained Discord, so it's not super spammy or anything. You can get in-depth analysis using our indicators in there, just as a free member, as well as obviously if you're premium, then we have a pro strategy section for you as well to go in and learn about what strategies other pro LuxAlgo traders use. And then also, of course, check out the website. On the website, you can get 30 days risk-free right now. Just click this big green button when you join, as well as 30% off. Just use code LUX30. But then I would advise you to check out the guides on the website under resources. This gives you full in-depth information on every single feature we offer in our premium suite, as well as just tutorials on how to use the indicator if you want to, you know, learn how to develop that profitable strategy that you're looking for. So check out that. That's completely free under the documentation, as well as make sure to check out the library. I'm super zoomed in here. library is a great place to go find other indicators that might help with the confluence of, some of the premium ones as well. Like we have ones on volume delta and some updated RSI indicators, support and resistance, liquidity, volume profile. There's hundreds of free indicators that we also offer on the website. So yeah, go check out all the free ones. We're releasing them every week, as you can see here, the 25th. Yesterday, we just released another one that's the range breakout signals. And then we released another fair value gap concept and even a Fibonacci one in the past 2 weeks. So here, obviously, we're releasing all these free indicators. We don't update these indicators often, so once they're released, we wait around, to update them when they need to be updated, or obviously if a new indicator is having problems, we update them. But that's why we really recommend signing up for the premium, because we're literally once a month updating these indicators to make sure they're the best they can be for your type of trading, depending on whatever trader you are. You can figure out your profitable strategy using 10 to 100 features depending on what works for you. So check out the website. And Mickey, we appreciate you joining, and we'll be back on Thursday.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys. Stay tuned. We'll be on for Market Open at some point. I really want to push this stream to be a place where everybody can come hang out and look at some assets and trade them. At some point we'll be hanging out doing some real-time analysis. Obviously the market's still open right now, so we were talking about what's to come possibly, but it'd be really cool to hop on here in the mornings and maybe go over what we're looking at for the day as well. So feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, because we will do that eventually. But I think that's a good place to call it. Hour 40 minutes. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you on Thursday.
Have a good one.
Yeah. See ya.